Hi guys, welcome back to the Kickback podcast. In today's episode, I'll be talking with my mentor and idol, Cortney Jordan, who's now Cortney Truitt because she got married. Hope you all enjoy. Hi guys, I'm here with Cortney Truitt. She's a three-time Paralympian
Yes,
and she's a swimmer. So how are you, Cortney?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
So I wanted to start off with how old are you now and where did you go to school for college?
Okay. So I'm 32 years old now. I went to college from 2009 to 2013, and I went to California Lutheran University.
Nice. Well, what did you study there?
I studied liberal studies, but their liberal studies program was designed to help you become a teacher.
Okay.
So basically elementary education.
Do you teach now?
I don't. I had a son in 2022.
Mhm.
And so I taught for 5 years before that. And then when I had my son, daycare is expensive, y'all. So I just made the decision to stay home with him. And I might go back. We're planning on more kids, and I might go back once all of them are in elementary school. But right now, I just wanted to stay home with him.
Nice. So he's two now. You said that you taught for 5 years. How is it that adapting to it while having a cerebral palsy?
It was tough, especially my first couple of years teaching. I had to definitely get used to standing so much. And then also I had to be okay with not standing so much. Like, I think that I had this idea that the teacher always had to stand in front of the classroom and teach. And because that's what
Mhm.
I saw. And I did that probably the first year, and I was in so much pain just standing all the time. And I also thought that I had to look professional all the time, so I would
Mhm.
always wear like nice shoes. And so at the end of the day, I'd be exhausted. And my second year teaching, I got a brace and I got really comfortable shoes. And I was just like, I'm gonna be a better teacher if I'm not in pain. So I adjusted things so that I could have more small groups, or I would sit next to a kid and I would teach, or I would like find ways to sit a little bit more. And I also was very open with my kids about my disability. And I said, like, I would let them know if I was having a bad day and I would be sitting more. And they were awesome about it, And I think it was good to have a teacher with a disability because, you know, it's might not be something that everyone experiences in their lifetime. So just to see a person with CP in a normal setting being just a teacher
Yeah,
was something that I think was good for them.
that's amazing. So what is your disability and the form of cerebral palsy you have?
Yeah, so I have spastic CP, and it affects my left side. So I have hemiplegia. So my left side is affected. I basically explain it to kids that it's like my left side is partially paralyzed. My whole right side is fine. There's nothing different about it. My left side, I have difficulty moving it, feeling it, and just using it in everyday life. And I also have it grows slower, so I have a limp, which adds to the pain.
Oh, how long have you had the disability?
I was born with it. So
This is the worst and best part of having CP.
the worst part is definitely the pain. I could do without that. Um,
Same.
there's definitely a lot of additional pain. I started having pain when I was 4, and it has just progressed and it's gotten worse as I've gotten older. I hate to tell people with CP that, but it's gotten worse as I've
Yeah,
gotten older. Sorry, Amanda.
it's okay.
Um, but I was talking to my friend Hannah about it, who also has CP, and I wouldn't
Mhm.
change it.
Yeah, me
I
neither.
wouldn't, I wouldn't be able-bodied because it allowed me to be a Paralympian.
Hmm.
But I also think that it gave me a better character. I think that I'm more patient because of my CP. I feel like I'm kinder because I have more patience for people. I'm
Hmm.
more thoughtful. I think that stems from having CP. It's not who I am, but it's a part, and it shaped me to be um, a little slower so I can see the world in a different way.
Yeah, you got it right on. Is it hard to go through life with others looking at you or just glancing at you because of your limp or anything else because of CP?
Awkward situations. I remember this one time I was at Panera. Guy came up to me and he's like, "Why are you limping?" And I was like, "I have CP." And I was explaining to him, he's like, "No, you don't. You're too pretty to have CP." And I was like, "Oh, okay. No, I'm pretty sure I do." Like, I don't know. I just think that people have um a misconception about what CP is because they think CP, they think someone who is affected with all four limbs, maybe doesn't have the ability to talk, and maybe is intellectually disabled as well. And that's not the case with every person with CP. So it can be hard to get the stairs and stuff like that. And it's also hard because when you have CP, you're kind of like an educator of the masses of what CP is like. And it's hard because you're this representative even when you don't want to be, or you kind of just want to blend in. And when I was little, I just wanted to like hide and I didn't want to have that CP. I just wanted to be like everyone else. But now I'm, like I said before, wouldn't change it. And you get used to it, I guess.
Yeah, you
And
do over time.
and I mean, you get to educate some people, which is cool because it's fun to change perspectives.
Yeah, especially nowadays because people, well, back 10 years ago, people thought disabilities only were so many little things instead of this many different things.
Yeah,
It's so cool.
yeah, I agree.
Going into your Paralympic world, when did you start swimming and when did you start the Paralympics?
I started swimming when I was like born. I so my grandfather was actually one of the founders of the Swimming Hall of Fame, and he was a huge advocate for disabled swimming, um,
Mm-hmm.
mainly like veterans, because around World War II, there was a ton of veterans coming home who were injured, and my grandpa was always like, the best therapy for these people is going to be to put them in the water. It's going to be a freeing experience.
Yeah.
So I was born and I was kind of like perfect family to be born into. Um, my dad was a nationally ranked swimmer. He actually held the 50 freestyle boys record for 10 and under for like 15, 20 years. And it's kind of funny because like the 50 free was my race that I won gold in too. So um, it's just it's in my family. My sister was a swimmer, my aunt was a swimmer. I didn't stand a chance. I was always at the pool anyway, so they just kind of threw me in.
Nice. And then how did you learn and start the Paralympics?
I got a letter for a small swim meet. I don't even think it exists anymore. But it was a small swim meet in San Diego. It was a United Cerebral Palsy swim meet. And
Okay, cool.
yeah, and they invited me. They're like, they saw that I had checked disability on my like USA swim card, and so they sent it to everyone who had a disability in the area. And I was living in
Mhm.
Las Vegas, and they sent me the letter, and I had never won anything. Like I had always swum against able-bodied athletes, so I was always last, and my goal was like to beat one person. So that was it was really cool because I went to the swim meet and they didn't have classifiers or anything. They just kind of estimated where you were. That's how small the swim meet was. And um they classed me and they were like, go for it. And I won every event. And they were like, you are really good. And it was such a awesome feeling to win because I had never
Mhm.
done it before.
Yeah.
And so I went to the swimming again the following year, and I was 14. And Michael DeMarco and his wife, um, Karen, they came up to me and they said, "You are really good. Like you could be a Paralympian." And I was like, "No, I'm 14." Like, no, like I don't, that's not what you do when you're 14, you know?
Yeah.
So and they're like, "No, I think you could have times to make it to nationals. Like you should go and get classified and see." And Um, so I went and I got classified, and I didn't realize it was the trials for World Championships. And it was 2006. The World Championships that year were in Durban, South Africa.
Oh, wow.
And I went and I swam the 400 freestyle, and I touched the wall and everyone was cheering, and I didn't understand why. And it's because um, Aaron and
Hmm.
I had gone first and second in the world in that race for the year. So like and I didn't understand what that meant. All I
Hmm.
know, I was just gonna leave and go home. Because I thought I was done. And they're like, and then my mom was sitting next to Mark Barr, who's a Paralympian, and because she was timing, and he's like, no, Courtney needs to go to the team. They're gonna name the team tomorrow. You have to stay an extra day. And I'm glad he told us that, because we would have just left. I don't know. I guess they would have called us and like told us, but
But you had the experience though.
yeah, I got to be able to, I was able to experience like them calling my name and
Mhm.
saying that I made the team, which was cool.
That's amazing. And then after that, you went on the team, and then in '08, you made the Paralympic team. Is that correct?
Yeah, so that was 2006. I won 3 medals there, which was awesome. I was just going in with no expectations. I won 3 bronze, and then I started training for Beijing. And it was my senior year of high school, and I missed the first month of high school and went to Beijing instead. And it was the best experience ever. I won a bronze, 2 silvers, and a gold in the 50 free, like I said prior.
That's amazing. And then how was Beijing, like the whole
It was
experience of it?
it was awesome. I mean, to be on Team USA was incredible, and the entire village was wonderful. Like I felt like I was living in like a beautiful hotel. They pulled out all the stops for us for Beijing. I was really lucky to be a part of that games.
Nice. And then after '08, what did you do next?
After '08, I was a senior in high school, so it was time to go to college. So
Hmm.
I emailed a bunch of um, coaches asking if I could be a part of their swim team because I knew that I wanted to swim in college.
Hmm.
And I got no answers from probably 3/4 of them. Like they just didn't respond to me, which was kind of crazy because I had just won a gold
Yeah,
medal at the Paralympic Games. I was number
I could have
one.
looked you up.
I was number one in my field for swimming,
Hmm.
and I could barely get a coach to even call me back or have me come and swim with them or see the campus or anything. Um, Tom Dodd, who was the head coach at Cal Lutheran, was
Hmm.
the only one who really pursued me. The head coach at Chapman University was always also interested in having me, but the program at Cal Lutheran at the time kind of fit what I wanted better. And I also got a scholarship there. So that was kind of like, okay, well,
Yeah.
scholarship's nice.
Yeah, it is.
Um, so I went to Cal Lutheran, and I'm really glad that I did. I had a great time on that swim team. And I think that when I went from high school to college, in high school, I swam just everything that they swam with the same times. And like I just never stopped swimming, basically. I just swam straight through so that I could swim everything that like they could get the
So you
yardage.
didn't have a break? You didn't modify the practice?
No, when I swam for high school, or like I remember we had to do this one set like every week, and it was like 2100s on 115, and that was like the slowest that they would let us do it on.
Okay.
And sometimes they would let me do it on 120. And I would be like touch and go. Like, because 115, 2100s on 115, like, come on, that's a lot. Like, that's
Crazy.
that's a lot. Um,
I tried touching. Okay.
so yeah, my coach was like, "You're like the Energizer Bunny. Just like stop for a second and breathe. Like, just stop. Just it's okay."
Yeah.
Um, and that kind of revolutionized my training because he was the first one that really adapted for me in a way where like if he knew that I couldn't make this set, he would find a way to make it work. Um, And I think that that really helped me. Although in London, when I went to London in 2012, as a senior in college, I won 4 silver medals. I feel like my performance in that meet was better because all my times were faster.
Okay.
So I don't know.
And so then you went to college and then you went to London. How was London, that experience?
London was so cool. They had us like they transported us with those double decker buses. Um,
Hmm.
the entire uh I mean the food was great. I feel weird saying that, but the dining hall was so good. Like I loved London. It was amazing. I was so thankful to be there too. And
Hmm.
just being part of Team USA, and in London I was the team captain, which was really cool because I had a different role than I had um in Beijing. You know, I was
Hmm.
the newer one, but then in London I was able to kind of um guide everyone, which was what I love to do.
Hmm. So how was being the team captain, but also swimming and competing on the same level?
Mhm. I feel like I did better when I was helping someone because
Hmm.
I wasn't thinking about the race as much. And when I would think about things too much, I wouldn't perform as well. So like that was kind of a sweet spot for me to be able to be helping people, cheering people on. That gave me kind of a way to like put my mind at ease. So I had a great time in London, and um, I was captain a few times after that as well. And um, I think London really helped me kind of figure out who I was as a leader because it's kind of a hard balance to um, be a teammate and a leader at the same time.
Yeah. So then after London, what did you do next?
After London, I went back to school, finished my senior year, and I graduated college at CalU. And then I didn't know what to do because, I mean, it was 2013 and there weren't that many options for Paralympic swimmers. And to be honest, there aren't that many options for Paralympic swimmers still.
Yeah.
I mean, luckily, a lot more colleges are being accepted, accepting of these athletes, but there's still such a big gap of like, what do you do after college? So after college, I personally went to train with Dave Dennison at the Paralympic Training Center for the summer because I was training for World Championships. That was one of my best performances ever, too. He's an incredible coach. He's at Wyoming right now. And I think he's a person who's pretty accepting of Paralympic athletes since he was one himself and he trained so many. Olympic and Paralympic Training Center in 2013 was pretty much the only place that people could go to train
Hmm.
and as a Paralympic athlete. So I went there for 3 months, but then it wasn't really for me because even though I had a great performance, like I swam, I was very proud of how I did in 2013. Uh, I just didn't feel like it was for me. I knew that I wanted to be a teacher as well as a swimmer, so I knew that I had those separate goals, and I wanted to find a place where I could do both. So I ended up moving to Baltimore because I talked to Brian Leffler, who is a big Paralympic coach, and um, he trained Brad Snyder and he trained Joe Wise, and he actually trained some of my friends from high school. So like I had known him. Oh, and Philip Schultz, like he had a bunch of Paralympians on his resume already, and so I knew that he would be able to train me um for Rio. And I also had been living with Jessica Long for when I was at the training center. And I knew that she and I got along and we wanted to be roommates going into Rio. So I moved to Baltimore and I ended up training there and getting my master's degree in teaching while I was there.
Oh, nice. So how is getting a master's and then swimming there?
I would not recommend it to anyone, like not in a bad way, but it was a lot. I was getting my master's degree and training for Rio. And as a Paralympic athlete, um, I wasn't receiving many funds. I think that on the national A team, I got about $1,000 a month, but that's not enough for it to live on. And so I had to work as well. I had 3 different jobs. And then towards the end of my master's program, I had to teach full time. And so I was teaching full time, I was working, and I was training for Rio all at the same
Mhm.
time. And I just think that all of that was too much for me at the same time. But I knew that I wanted to, um, I was going to be done after Rio. And so well, that's what I thought. I was going to be done after Rio. And then I was going to just start into teaching,
Mhm.
which is actually like what I did. I got hired by Howard County,
Mhm.
and I got off the plane from Rio and I taught the next day, and it was parent teacher night. And so I had to stay till like 8:30 and I was delirious. I swear those parents must have been judging me because I was like, I don't know any of your kids. I
Mhm.
I have not met them. I met them one day, so I couldn't tell you, hi guys. I was just like, but luckily the substitute teacher who had subbed for me that month was able to um fill in and help me because I was just exhausted.
Awesome. At least he helped you felt like going
Yeah.
through that month.
Yeah.
So how was Leo's experience?
Rio is great. Rio was a little bit harder for me personally, and I think it's because there was just a lot of external things going on in my life at that time. Um, and I don't think that I had as much fun. I think that I kind of let the pressures of Rio get to me. And so because I think I had all these expectations on myself and how I wanted to perform, how I wanted my last performance to be. So I didn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to. Um, once again, it was great to be part of Team USA on that time, but just because of my own personal factors and like how I limited myself, it didn't go as well as I wanted to. I mean, I still won 4 medals. I still like am really proud of my performance, especially because of the external factors that were like hard for me. But overall, like I'm proud that I was able to be resilient and continue to and like push through and earn some medals. But I didn't enjoy as much, and that's why it wasn't my last one. I ended up staying until 2018, and I went to Australia Pan Pacific Championships, and that was my last one because I wanted to end on a fun, positive note.
So how was your last meet ever in
It
Australia?
it was great. I only swam 2 events.
What events?
I had always swam like 7 events and I was always exhausted by the end of the meet. So
Hmm.
I was like, I'm just gonna swim the 50 fly and the 100 free, and I'm gonna chill on the other days and enjoy it. And I was honored to be team captain on my last trip. Um, and I just focused on cheering on my teammates and like soaking up every ounce of like being a Paralympic swimmer.
Nice.
Mhm.
After getting into the Paralympic community, were you more comfortable with your disability and having a disability?
Oh, absolutely. I had never known anyone with a disability before then. Like I was never like I knew of people with disabilities, obviously, but I never had friends with disabilities before. And there's just something really special about having someone understand what it's like to be in pain at 12 years old or be looked at, like you're not the only one being stared at and um just having people understand your dream to just be an athlete and be seen as an athlete, not an athlete with a disability, not, oh, nice, like the pity clap. Like she completed it, but an actual like competitive athlete, just like any athlete in the pool.
Yeah. What's going back from 2018 to 2006?
Mhm.
What do you think is your biggest accomplishment in the Paralympic world from
Oh,
all those years?
that's a good question. So I think the obvious, like on paper answer would be to be the fact that I'm a Paralympic champion, but I don't think that's my answer. I think that I'm really proud of the fact that I hope, I was the person that I needed for other people. When I was younger, I needed a role model. I needed someone who had my disability that or not even my disability, but a disability. I needed someone who was like had similar goals as me and who um wanted to achieve the same things as me that I could look up to and be like, she's done this, and I could ask questions to. I feel like um I have tried to be a person that like younger swimmers could look to and aspire to be like, and also ask questions to someone who is accessible as well. Not just like an athlete who has done really well, but someone that they could come to and talk to and ask questions because I don't know, I never had anyone, and it might be weird, but like I have this one girl with CP that I kind of mentored, and she didn't know how to put up her hair in a ponytail, and she saw me do it and then she started doing it and the same way. And it's just like simple things like that that I think for me that's more powerful and more lasting than a medal than I won.
It is.
Not to not to diminish the accomplishment of being a Paralympic gold medalist because that's amazing and I wouldn't give that up for the world, but I am really proud of the fact that I was able to help anyone that I helped.
Yeah. When you helped me when I first meet, if you don't remember that.
No, I remember.
Me crying hysterically.
Cutest little thing.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you now. I follow you. That sounds weird, but like I followed your career because I'm just so proud that you were that little girl that you were just scared to even like
It's
go
so
down the
terrified.
pool. And it was cool to be able to be there for you. It
Yeah.
was definitely one of my favorite moments. I asked that question when I won Scholar Athlete of the Year in my senior year of CalU, and
Mhm.
I had to go before a board, and they asked me that question, like, what's one of my favorite moments as an athlete? And I was like, I don't know if this counts, but there was this little girl, and she was scared to swim, and I went to the other end and I cheered for her the whole way so that she wouldn't be as scared. Because I think that's that means so much, That's something that it's not a ton. It was like what, like 5 minutes of my time
Yeah.
had
Literally
a
five
lot,
minutes of the whole entire meeting.
but
But it meant so much to me
it,
at the time, and it still
yeah,
does.
yeah, it made a lasting impact, and that means more to me than
Yeah.
anything.
Because my dad says this all the time. Just remember the fact that if it wasn't for Courtney, then I don't know where you, I don't know if I would have gone in the water. Who knows? But I do. I still am very appreciative of you at that meet. And I still am.
Thank you.
I know I'm running out of time. In the water. Who knows? But I do. I still am very appreciative of you at that meet. And I still am.
Thank you.
I know I'm running out of time. After your retirement, and nowadays, what's your future goal in life? Like, what do you have do you have any goals left?
I do. And I'm glad you're actually the first person I'm telling besides my husband. So this is like really new news. So I moved to Alabama and
Hmm.
I live near Lakeshore now. And I don't know if this is going to happen because I haven't talked to anyone yet. But Lakeshore is this awesome gym for disabled people. And it's like all this stuff for disabled people. It's
Hmm.
incredible. And so my goal is to first start a training camp here in Alabama. And then I would love, once my kids are older, I say kids, I only have one, but
You'll have more. Don't worry.
I'm hoping for the best. Um, so once my kids are older, I would love to be a like Paralympic hub. Like I would love to, like I was mentioning, there's not a lot of places still. It's 2024, and there are not that many places for Paralympians to go to train after they get out of college or school. And I mean, one of your only options is the Olympic Training Center. And if that's not for you, if that doesn't fit, then tough luck. You got to find a coach, and that's so hard. So I would love to be um, help in that, you know?
Yeah,
So I would
that'd be
love
great for
to,
others.
yeah. So hopefully, I can do that, but we'll
That'd be
see.
an amazing goal in the
I
near future, hopefully.
Yeah, and I also want to get back in teaching possibly, and um, maybe write a kids book. It's been on my mind because I love the kiddos, and just be a good mom and a good wife, you know?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
The last question I have for you today is, what do you want others to know about the Paralympic movement?
I want other people to know about the Paralympic movement is that kind of what I said before. Um, the Paralympic movement is the second most watched and second largest athletic competition in the world, only besides the Olympics. It is the athletes that compete in there are athletes, period. We do have a disability, but like the competition, the drive, the grit, the just everything about the Paralympics is intense. The training that we go through is intense. We do everything that able-bodied athletes do, and we don't need any recognition for being disabled. We don't want the pity claps. We want exactly what every other athlete wants, and it's the ability to compete. And I really hope that in the future, there's more recognition and more support for the Paralympics. There's been so much during my time in Paralympics, but there's so much farther to go
Yeah,
till we reach equality.
yeah, so much, especially.
Yeah.
One thing that I really want in the future is, you know how every 4 years the Olympic trials is that massive pool.
Hmm.
I really want the Paralympic trials to be at that pool because
Yeah.
that is basically the version of equality in the Paralympic swimming world because we have trials too. But when University of Minnesota or North Carolina, wherever we are,
Yeah.
but that would be such a good equality movement in
Yeah.
the future.
I agree. I think that would be a huge step. I think it was a huge step that the payment of the medals.
Yeah.
That one I was a little bit salty about just because like I just missed that cutoff, you know?
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
one more Paralympics and I would have made a lot more money, but that's okay.
And then the recent one, besides that one, is the Olympic and Paralympic Training Center name.
Yeah, that's huge. It was just the it was just the Olympic Center,
Hmm.
Olympic Training Center when I went there, but now it's the Olympic and Paralympic. And that means a lot.
Yeah, it does. Well,
Mhm.
thank you so much, Courtney.
Of
Mm.
course. Thank you for having me.